My project is on sustainable interior design. Okay, a little bit about me. Hi, I'm Averi, and design has always been a huge part of who I am. I've been drawn to design for as long as I can remember. When I was little, I always loved building with blocks and Legos and creating spaces that fit together perfectly. As I've grown, that turned into a passion for interior design and creating spaces that are both functional and meaningful. I took that passion further by interning at Ainsley Bone Interiors, where I advanced into an assistant role. That experience gave me real insight into the design process and how ideas can really come to life. It pushed me to think more intentionally about the choices I make as a young designer. For this project, my purpose was to go beyond just aesthetics. I wanted to design something that reduced environmental impact while still being functional and well-designed. For me, it's about balancing aesthetic, function, and responsibility. My final product is a sustainably designed chair that reflects everything I value as a young designer: thoughtful materials, functionality, and a strong design. It's not just a chair, it represents the kind of designer I want to be in my future ahead. What is sustainable interior design? Sustainable interior design is the practice of creating spaces that are environmentally responsible, healthy for people, and mindful of long-term impact. It focuses on using eco-friendly materials, reducing waste, and improving energy efficiency, and choosing products that are ethically made and built to last. This can include things like reclaimed wood, low VOC paints, natural lighting, and furniture designed with minimal environmental impact. Overall, it's about designing spaces that not only look good, but also support the well-being of people and the planet. All right, let's look at some waste statistics. The World Green Building Council notes buildings are responsible for 39% of global carbon emissions, including materials and interiors. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation states that 85 to 90% of textiles, including industry upholstery, end up in landfills or incineration. So that brings us to construction and renovation creates huge amounts of waste. Building produces a large share of global carbon emissions. Most textiles and materials end up in landfills. Interiors are often replaced every 7 to 10 years. And most waste comes from renovation, not new construction. And fast furniture has massively increased over the past 10 years. So that brought me to my essential questions. These questions guided my entire capstone work. So the first one is, how can sustainable interior design balance aesthetics, functionality, and environmental responsibility to create healthier and more efficient living spaces? This is about the process and how you design. And my second question is, how can sustainable design principles and interior spaces and architecture reduce environmental impact while enhancing human well-being? This is about the outcome and what it achieves. All right, this brought me to my guiding questions. These questions pretty much guided my trip to LA. So I'll give you a second to read over these. It's basically about sustainability, what it looks like, some of the architectural design challenges in the industry. Yeah. Okay, my project goals. First, we have design integration. To create a chair that is both functional and visually cohesive within an interior space. Environmental impact. To use sustainable materials and construction methods to minimize environmental harm. And human impact. To design a chair that prioritizes comfort, usability, and overall well-being. And then my overall goal was to create a piece of furniture that is not only well-designed and functional, but also environmentally responsible and meaningful to the user. Okay, so for my project, I traveled to LA, and my goal was to see how sustainability is actually used in professional design in the real world. I stayed with a T alumni, Kaya Marshall, who is majoring in graphic design at LMU. I talked to her about her experience in and after T. I visited the Pacific Design Center and explored different showrooms and design spaces. I focused on sustainable, eco-friendly materials, energy efficiency, and design ideas. how spaces can both be sustainable and aesthetic, and I noticed how designers balance style, function, and environmental impact. Some of my key takeaways are that sustainable design is more practical and realistic than I thought. It's not just an idea, it's actually being used. An overall impact gave me inspiration and helped me think about how I want to use sustainability in my own designs and beyond. Now let's get into some industry professionals. These are all experts that I met with on my Capstone week. First, we have Heather Cleveland, who is an interior designer based in the Bay Area. She focuses on thoughtful, intentional spaces and has an emphasis on material choices that support healthier environments. This helped me understand how sustainability can be integrated into everyday design decisions. Next, we have Ainsley Bowen, who I work for. Interior design, Ainsley Bowen Interiors focuses on function, usability, and material choices. An example of Ainsley using sustainability in her designs is she completed a project where she sourced stone for a countertop from a quarry just 3 miles away. This reduced transportation emissions and overall environmental impact. This shows how small intentional decisions can make a big difference in sustainable design. And last, we have Todd St. John. He's a multidisciplinary designer known for furniture that blends art and function. He uses simple forms, natural materials, and is a strong craftsman. He had a lot of inspiration for my chair his practices are both sculptural and sustainable. Okay, so some of these companies, I'll only go over 2 for time's sake, but they all had a piece in my Capstone project. At my time at the Pacific Design Center, I met with Jack from Pelichek, who is the showroom manager. Pelichek is known for handcrafted furniture using natural and renewable materials such as rattan, which is a fast-growing climbing-like vine that is native to Southeast Asia and is priced highly because it's durable, lightweight, and flexible. Pelichek overall focuses on craftsmanship and long-lasting design. Next, I met with Annalisa from Elatis. Elatis is a textile and wall covering company exploring innovative and sustainable materials. They have an emphasis on texture, quality, and durability in design. Elatis materials are designed by and inspired by the natural world. One product I found especially interesting was a wall covering made from dried lily pads, showing how organic materials can be transformed into innovative, sustainable design. All right, so my essential answers. Process and how you design. Sustainable interior design balances aesthetics, function, and environmental responsibility by making intentional choices like using reclaimed wood or rattan, choosing low VOC finishes, and designing durable furniture that is both beautiful and long-lasting. Outcome and what it achieves. Sustainable design reduces environmental impact while improving the well-being by creating efficient, low-waste spaces. For example, using natural light, non-toxic materials, and locally sourced products to improve air and reduce emissions. Okay, now let's get into my product. While searching for inspiration, I came across this simplistic design from a Japandi designer. In the Japandi aesthetic, a chair is never just a seat. It becomes a piece of functional sculpture. It moves away from the overstuffed bulk of traditional comfort and the harsh sharpness of industrial design. Instead, it focuses on finding and balancing middle ground. It's low profile, tactile, and deeply rooted in natural materials. So I gave it my own twist, and I drew this sketch, which led the design process, and I showed to Steven, and he said this would be possible. So shout out to Steven. For the wood, I used redwood. Redwood was selected as a sustainable material because of its natural resistance to rot and insects, which can reduce the need for harsh chemical treatment. It helps extend the lifespan of the chair, so I also used water-based water-based stain instead of traditional finishes to keep the process lower impact and less toxic. The wood itself was sourced from low split wood pile, which is thrown away if not being used. So this choice helped reduce waste while still creating something intentional and high quality. And for the fabric, for the cushion part of my chair, I got donated a linen fabric from De La Cunha, which is a luxury fabric company known for sustainability. Linen is one of the most sustainable fabrics because it is made from flax plant, which requires little to no water or fertilizers. Linen is 100% biodegradable, durable, and free of microplastics. And Zeb was able to sew it for me, so thank you, Zeb. For the stuffing of my chair, I used cowpock fiber, which is from bean products. Cowpock is a lightweight, silky fiber that comes from the seed of the ceiba tree. It's often called silk cotton, and I chose it because it's a more sustainable option. It's also hypoallergenic, water-resistant, and naturally buoyant, which makes it great for things like bedding, insulation, and eco-friendly products. And then these were some of the photos from my process. Whoops. Okay, takeaways. Some things you should take away are to choose quality, long-lasting furniture instead of fast furniture. Try to veer away from companies like IKEA, Amazon, and Target. Even though they are lower cost, they are mass-produced and have a shorter lifespan. And oftentimes they have toxins in them such as VOCs, like I mentioned before, which are volatile organic compounds. VOCs are chemicals that are easily evaporated into the air from materials like paint, stains, finishes, adhesive, and engineered wood. They're what cause the strong new furniture smell. And that smell is actually chemicals being released into the air over the time called off-gassing. Many mass-produced furniture pieces use synthetic materials like glue that have high levels of VOC, which can lead to headaches and dizziness or respiratory irritation. Instead, support brands that use sustainable and ethical materials, even when they're more expensive. Look at companies like Avocado, The Citizenry, and Thuma. They use responsibly sourced wood, recycled materials, and non-toxic finishes. And lastly, be careful of waste when renovating or redecorating. These choices may seem small, but they're not insignificant, they're intentional. Every decision from the materials I used to the way I finished the wood was made with impact in mind. Yes, it can take more time and effort, but it's something costs more, some things may cost more, but that trade-off creates something that lasts longer, reduces waste, and avoids unnecessary harm. This isn't just about one chair, it's about how we choose to design. When we start making more thoughtful decisions, like those small choices, stop being so small and start shaping a more sustainable future. Thank you.